So how bad is it really to sleep in your contact lenses? What is happening to your eyeballs when you're sleeping with your contacts? Likely, if you're a contact lens wearer, we've all been faced with this scenario where it's late o'clock, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, you've had a long shift, long day, maybe studying for school, you lay down, you can fall asleep like that, but then all of a sudden you remember, "Oop, I forgot to take my contacts out." And so you're left with the decision, should I get up, take the contacts out, or hey, it's not really a big deal. I'll sleep with my contacts this time and just take them out in the morning. I'm guessing most of us that wear contacts have been faced with this scenario, and statistically, 1/3 of you do this on a routine basis. This is a habit. You're doing this every night. So in this video, we're going to dig into the science a little bit of why your eye doctor might be nervous when you tell them, hey, I'm sleeping in my contact lenses. I mean, we're talking about suffocating corneas, hotel biofilm for bacteria, and why your next eye exam and eye prescription might be messed up because of doing this. Let's focus in. So here's the thing. Our body receives its oxygen from blood, the blood supply through our blood vessels. Now, our cornea, the clear window, the clear dome where our contact lens sits, it is avascular, meaning there's no blood vessels there, so it relies on getting its oxygen from the air. The cornea is an air breather. So when you're awake and blinking, your cornea is exposed to an oxygen tension of 155 millimeters of mercury, and that oxygen is dissolved into the tear film and absorbed into the cornea. Now, when you go to sleep and close your eyes, it relies on getting oxygen from the inner lining of the eyelid. So this oxygen tension drops by 60%. And then if you think about it, if you add a contact lens on the cornea and you're sleeping, that's just another barrier for the cornea to get oxygen. And then on top of that, if your contact lens ends up being a low DK value contact lens, the DK value is how well your contact lens passes oxygen through it to your cornea. The higher the DK, the better. So if you are wearing a low DK contact lens, then it's possible that your cornea could get so little oxygen that it will go into a state of hypoxia and flip a switch into emergency mode. And this is the chain reaction from the emergency mode. The corneal cells, starved of oxygen, shift from aerobic to anaerobic glycolysis to produce energy. And then as a byproduct, this process produces lactic acid, which builds up in the cornea. And because it builds up in the cornea, it increases osmotic pressure within the cornea, which draws in water into the cornea, and this results in swelling or edema. Now, normally an eye will usually swell a little bit, even without a contact lens, about 4%, but a lot of times with a contact lens, it can swell between 10 and 15%. And if it swells enough, patients can sometimes experience something called the Sattler's veil. And you might have experienced this right when you wake up after sleeping, especially sleeping in your contact lenses. You might look at lights and notice maybe a color rainbow halo coming off of lights. That is from the swelling or the excess fluid in the cornea from being hypoxic. Now, the lack of air is really only half the problem. You can think of your contact lens as a 5-star hotel for bacteria. Now, normally during the day, your tears and blinking are flushing away the bad stuff, the bacteria in your eyes. But at nighttime, you're not blinking and your tears aren't moving. And so if you have a contact lens on there, it gives a great opportunity for bacteria to latch, attach onto the surface of that contact lens, and create a biofilm, a shield around that bacteria. And then it just goes to town at eating at your cornea. Now, the CDC estimates that you are 6 to 8 times more likely to develop a vision-threatening infection when sleeping in your contact lenses. We're talking about corneal ulcers here, and if you are unlucky and it's in the wrong spot, right in the center of the cornea, it can cause a permanent decrease in your vision, sometimes permanent blindness, and as little as 1 to 2 days. And the other part that stinks for you and your doctor is that it can affect the accuracy of your prescription. One reason being the swollen cornea. If you go in the morning and your cornea is a little bit swollen, it can affect the accuracy. And the other reason, if you chronically sleep in your contact lenses, there's a possibility that you can have some warpage of your cornea. It's almost like the cornea molds a little bit to the contact lens and causes these weird curves to it. And this is called corneal warpage. So if you just got glasses and you feel like there's something wrong, it just feels off, there's a chance when you went in for your eye exam and you took your contact lenses out, maybe after sleeping in them for a week or two, there's a chance that the cornea was starting to unwarp and change, and it made it really difficult for the doctor to get a stable reading or a stable prescription. In fact, in some cases, depending on what type of contacts you have, how long you've been sleeping in them, it can take up to 11 weeks for your cornea to go back to its original shape. And that's one of the main reasons why, if you go in to get LASIK, they say, hey, you need to be out of your contacts for at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, depending on the condition. Now, this is considered one of the worst eye habits to have. In fact, when I did a video about the worst eye habits, number 1 rank was smoking, number 2 was sleeping in your contact lenses. And one of the biggest reasons, because if you are in that 1/3 of the people that wear contact lenses chronically sleep in them, likely you are developing other bad habits with your contact lenses. You aren't washing your hands, you aren't cleaning your contact lenses, you're topping off solution when you do store them in a case. And so that puts you in a category that the likelihood of something bad happening to your eyes increases over time. Now, luckily, contact lenses have come a long way, have definitely become more healthy over the years, but here are a few things that we as doctors still see on the cornea when we're looking at somebody that might be sleeping in their contact lenses. One common one is called stromal infiltrates, these small white hazy spots maybe out in the periphery of the cornea. They can be sterile infiltrates. They can be accompanied by white blood cells if the eye is recognizing something and wanting to fight something off. Maybe it's bacteria on your cornea. And these little hazy spots can sometimes cause issues, irritation, light sensitivity, redness. Another common one is limbal redness. You'll have redness right around the cornea. Again, cornea is not getting enough oxygen, so it is sending out signals, hey, you need to bring oxygen in. And so blood vessels start piling up around the cornea to try and dump oxygen in there. And if it's bad enough, we'll start growing little baby blood vessels into the cornea to keep it alive. And so if it's bad enough, sometimes we'll see neovascularization, new blood vessels in the cornea. And if it gets out there far enough, they won't go away. They'll become ghost vessels that sit there, and if they are long enough, can sometimes affect and block the vision. So the next time your eye doctor says, hey, you probably should not be sleeping in your contact lenses, these are the reasons why. Hope this video helped. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and you can check out these videos to learn more about contact lenses. Stay focused.